tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Here we are. Oh, my tabs are all messed up. Yeah, Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Sober Wednesday. Wild Wednesday. Yeah. I'm just waking up. Good morning, Michelle, Leisure, and Amber. Good to see you all there. Amber's like fucking sweet because I went live. So that means I did something right today. So that's good. Here we are. Right. See, not everything's bad. I need to say this out loud. I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna go down and do the meeting, but it's probably gonna be the last day. I think I'm gonna end the Wednesday meeting. There's just too many barriers, man. You got it. First, finding the building's kind of tough. Then you got to wait for somebody to take you up there, and then there's just too many restrictions for an AA meeting. So there are going to be kids around and stuff. It's just there's too many barriers, and I'm tired of working through them without much help on it. So I'm not mad or angry about it. It's just another thing. So we'll see what happens. There were some other things that happened too, and some kids had gotten out of control. Oh no! Oh, it was like the end of the fucking world. And they told me, and that was fine. I had no problem with that. Then they went to their boss, and their boss sent me like it's something else needed to be done, and I did not appreciate. All right, there was one time I showed up, they weren't there. The office was closed. Did I call their boss and get all bitchy? No. So yeah, you treat me like shit. It only takes once, and I'm kind of, yeah, I'm weird that way. Other people might put up with stuff more than me, but I'm doing the community a service. So give me a little bit of fucking leeway, would you? Not only that, but I'm the only one doing. I'm doing everything. Work with me here. All right. So when I go in, I'm not going to be all nicey nice with the girls up front today. I'm going to be like, hey, I'm here. That's going to be it. We'll see how they react to that, because I've had a feeling going in there a little bit that there's a person in that group that doesn't like me because of the things that I do. So I can feel it. Yeah, they compliment me a lot. And I know when somebody is killing me with kindness. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, you're paranoid. No, this shit's true. This is true stuff. All right. Enough of that. Today it's not random reading from the big book. Today's topic is loyalty. I forgot to change it. I knew there was something I was missing. We'll update it here. It's not going to update everywhere else. So it's probably going to tell me. Oh, it did change it. Good for you. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Michelle's, I'm surprised you waited this long. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really do appreciate that comment, because I tried, man. You know, how long we've been running that meeting? 8 months. All right, 8 months I've been running it. Wait a minute. Let's call it 6 months. I think it's closer to 6 months. But 6 times 4, that's 25 meetings. And I haven't had anything. People from grassroots have been showing up. You know what? You know who shows up? People that had doctor's appointments across the street that needed a meeting. And I'm glad that it was there, but they're not showing back up. They're not, so, and they were just in the area. People out of town, they show, oh yeah, this is cool. But as soon as the meeting's over, they're like Speedy Gonzalez. They're gone. I don't even have enough time to break stuff down and meet them in the parking lot to talk a little bit more. Amber says, loyal to the random readings of the big book. Yeah. That was fun yesterday, though, too. We ended up with a weird number. See how that stuff works. All right. A little bit of talking juice. I talked so much yesterday. By the end of yesterday, my voice was going. I was in a meeting and I was reading the big book and I almost couldn't finish it. My voice is much better today. I didn't run it all night. So welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm your host. I don't fucking know. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. I don't really know what kind of mood I am. I'm just here. Yeah. So it's been a weird couple weeks for me. Lot of fucking change. A lot of internal change. And I'm going through this speedy growth spurt. And it's very uncomfortable, but I know what's going on, so I don't need to. But I've just confronted a lot of things, and I've healed from them. And now the world it got bigger again, and so I'm trying to right size everything. But all right, so you know what time it is? It's that time. It's time for Dion's Daily Funnies. Today I went with a theme. Tell me if you know what the theme is. One person here should, because the theme is based off of a text sent to me earlier. I'm just going to tell you about doors. So we're going to do jokes about doors today. This is the weird shit my brain comes up with. This is why I'm good at this stuff, because I'm like, oh, doors. Well, we do funnies. We should do some jokes about doors. So let's get started. When is a door not a door? When it's ajar. We had back in the 90s. Your door is ajar. It meant it was open, right? Too bad we didn't have like what we needed was the talking cars that were like, that were more like gang related. Yo, motherfucking door's open. Your battery's low. You need to charge your battery. You're out of gas, you dumbass. All right. Why did the door go to a therapist? Because it had a problem opening up. Poor thing. I know what that's like. Maybe if the door grabbed the key of willingness, it'd be a little bit easier. Hi, Angel. Good to see you. All right. What do you call a cute door? Adorable. There's a few here, and since we're doing theme, we're gonna do them all. All right. I have 4 more. Maybe we won't do them all. Why did the door get a job in sales? Because it really knows how to close a deal. It was funny when I was a sales manager, I'd get those people that would come in there like, I can sell ice to an Eskimo. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. Okay, I'm an Eskimo. Sell me ice. Yet not one of them closed. Not one of them sold me ice. All right. So he tells me, I'm like, okay, let's see it, man. I'm on board. I want to see this, especially when I know it's bullshit. I'm writing a song about getting my door replaced. There's a key change at the end. Now, musicians got that one. All right. What do you call a man with no arms or no legs lying in front of a door? We call it actually. Let's change that to what it's supposed to see. Say, what do you call a man with? What do you call a paraplegic at your front door? Matt. Yeah, probably didn't appreciate that one as much, huh? All right. Why did the door break up with the wall? It felt like there was no opening for them. That one was bad. All right, let's get to the real daily trudge. Today we're talking about loyalty. I do not have a reading. I just have some thoughts in my mind. So we'll probably be covering different types of loyalty. All right. But what is loyalty to you? Feel free to put in chat maybe a few words on what loyalty is to you. For me, somebody who is loyal to me doesn't necessarily have to stick up for me when I'm not around. Yeah, I'm not going to ask you to put yourself in positions for me. Yeah. Um, but I would hope you'd come back to me and let me know. Loyalty is a friend approaching me saying, Dion, you're kind of out of your lane. I know what you're trying to go for in life. And so I'm calling to let you know that I'm seeing something wrong here. That's loyalty to me. I'm a loyal to me is might be a little different. What else is loyal? Because I really appreciate honesty. Hey, so and so, would you like to do the podcast? You know, no, I don't know that I feel okay doing that, or maybe they don't have enough time under their but they're just honest with me. No, I'm not. I don't think I want to do that. Because do you know how many people tell me yes and don't follow through? A lot. Most don't follow through. Most people that say they will do the podcast don't follow through. I have to really get, and I only asked twice. After that, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to pressure somebody to do the, I don't want to pressure somebody to do, to have to do it. Now, when it comes to reciprocation, that's something slightly different, but that's not what we're talking about. That's reciprocation. All right. So I asked ChatGPT a question. All right. The first thing that I said is I said, go search the internet and find all the ways someone in recovery needs to find loyalty, including the support that saved them. And it went into this social thing, which kind of went clinical on me, right? Peer run support groups, mentors or support. And yeah, I'm like family, trust, friends, sober, friendly environment, straight. So what loyalty means to me. But then I said, I think you missed the mark. I do not do clinical. I do God. How about loyalty God to God, the person that saved your life, using AA to get better just to turn around and sell it. That is the loyalty we are talking about today. AA saved your life. Don't shit on it. Leisure says, I will. Don't give me shit. Okay, Leisure. That's my purse. I don't know you. And so it's like, now I get what you meant. You weren't asking about recovery structures. You were asking about the spiritual loyalty. Yep, they got it. They got it. So loyalty and recovery, God, gratitude, and not selling the gift. All right. Don't worry. It's not the only loyalty I'm going to stick on today on that one. It's just a portion. What about loyalty to yourself? Loyalty to your kids? Following through on what we said that we were going to do. Okay. Loyalty comes with a few things. Number one, it comes with discernment. Discernment. Let's look up the word. Definition of discernment. I'm going to tell you now That was not the word in my head. It's the word that popped into my head. I could see it clearly. God just gave me that word. That was not my plan. I'm letting you know. That was not the plan. Discernment, the ability to judge well. He hit it. Perception in the absence of judgment with a view of obtaining spiritual guidance and understanding. All right. And alcoholics, we know how to be loyal. We know how to be loyal. We were loyal to John Barleycorn for years and years and years. We were loyal to our own manipulation, our own actions. Yeah. Ride or die. Yeah. A loyal friend will not allow you to ride and die. A loyal friend will not do that. I had a loyal friend, and I was talking to him, and I said, I would die for my kids. And they said, "That's great, Dion. Everybody would die for their kids. Would you get well for them?" That's a friend. That's loyalty. That is love. So, what else does loyalty need? It needs love, it needs respect. Without these things, all right. Angel says loyalty is someone who has my back without going behind it. Also, one who is honest, not controlling or unsolicited. Yeah. Now, some friends that are loyal might give you unsolicited advice. Maybe you're not really looking for the advice, but you did something, they called you, but they didn't approach it with, "Are you stupid? What the fuck's wrong with you?" They didn't poke the bear first. They said, "Hey, how you doing?" They didn't call about that. They said, they're like, "Something's up. So I'm going to call this person." Something, my intuition says, I need to call this person. And then you get a call. "How you doing?" And you know what's up. They know what's up. But they're more concerned about, they aren't concerned about the post or whatever. They're concerned about how you're doing. Friends don't save you from learning opportunities. Codependency is not loyalty. That is much different. All right. So let's take a look at some of this. Loyalty to God, the one who pulled you out. Yep. God saved your ass, whether you want to believe it or not. I believe it. I'm not going to force it down people's throats. That's why I do the way that I do it. If I wanted to shove it down people's throats, I'd go to a TED talk and shit. Okay. And I'd certainly be able to do that. That wouldn't be a problem. Loyalty to God, the one who pulled you out. If God saved your life, if God is the reason you're sober, breathing in life, then loyalty looks like this: staying connected to God's children. See, I have found that God speaks through his children. Now, every now and again, I'll get something from God. It just happened. But God did not speak to me. He flashed a word in my head. And luckily for me, it worked out. That's loyalty. That is faith. I had faith in the fact that what was just given to me was God, and I could feel it because my stomach said, "Yay, there's the word we needed." My stomach said it. Okay. Then it went to my heart, and my heart said, "Yes, Dion, that is love." And it worked out. It happened that fast. And it happens to me all the time. Whenever I start speaking, words come out that I was not planning. I don't plan these. The closest that I get is making the. I don't even write the description. I let ChatGPT. I don't even read the description. Sometimes I read it, right? But I'll read the description. What do I need to read the description for? It gives me an outline. I don't always need the outline, right? Because I have trust and faith in God that He is going to make sure that I am not a fool here. That I that I don't that I don't humiliate myself. There's a lot of ways I could do that. But I have a trust and faith in God that what is going on. Yeah, and that's the reason We were talking about the meeting earlier. My trust in God is so deep that that's why I've been doing that meeting for 6 months because of God. It's kind of, but God wanted it, but I don't think it's quite that way. And my friends that I trust are kind of agreeing with me. So that's kind of my sign. That's God. He's like, hey, Dion, you gave it a try. I appreciate it. Maybe he had a few people in mind that I needed to help, and I've helped them. I don't know. I don't know the why, and I don't need to know the why. I used to want to know the why because I wanted to know everything. Right. And I used to think that I knew everything. I love being a well of useless knowledge. Just just knowing off the cuff stupid stuff that means nothing in life. Okay. And it made people think I was smarter when really I was just a parrot. Polly butter cracker, Polly butter cracker. Bagok. What else? We stay connected, we stay teachable. I don't care how long you've been sober, you gotta be teachable, man. Or you're gonna miss out on some really cool shit. Yes, last night we had a meeting, the grassroots meeting. And man, the topic was so, I don't want to say hard. Uh, it was kind of tough, and kind of not really, but nobody was really raising their hand. But man, there were some great things said last night. Some things I needed to hear. Yeah, I needed to hear them, and it came from Amber. I told her too. I love. I really like telling people, okay, what they said. I really really liked, and why do I do that? Because people trust and respect me. People think I'm a guru. They think I'm an expert, except for my friends. They know better, right? I know my stuff. I kind of do. I can help you work through a problem and thing. So when I tell somebody, they're like, "Yeah, yeah, Dion's stealing my shit." Yes, it makes them excited, and then they learn more, and I learn more, and it's connection. What is that? It's loyalty. Just because you have less time than me doesn't mean I ain't listening. I know if you go to a meeting, right, and I'm in it, you'll see me get up and move around a lot. I'm listening though. I am. I'm always listening. Not taking credit for things God did. All right. So what do? Then we claim spiritual progress. And that's what the topic was last night. How are you claiming spiritual progress? And what Amber brought up was that we talk about claiming spiritual progress, but instead, what we do is we just talk about our progress and we don't say anything about God or the spiritual side of it. And she's correct. So jump on that God bandwagon, man. Don't be a scared. I'm there. Oh, you don't need to be a scared. It's okay. Usually I'm done by noon, so I go take a shower and stuff, but I showered last night, so I don't need to do that. Right? Not taking credit for things God did. Now, let's take because I gotta use the Daily Trudge. Do I take credit here? A little bit. I'm the one that presses the buttons. I'm the one that creates all the stuff. I do that. I'm gonna take credit for that. But the words that come out of my mouth, what do I say about them? That's God's handiwork. That is God's handiwork. I only get to do this because of my faith in my higher power. And I have a lot. I have a lot of courage. Do I know I have a lot of courage? Because I fucked around and found out a lot in this lifetime. I did a lot, too much. Not something I recommend. Mm-mm. Okay. But because of it, I know which parts not to fuck around with. Okay. And there are certain things in this world, okay, that will take parts of your fucking soul, man. And taking credit for something that is not yours is one of them. I found out that you don't get away with anything in this life. Nope. Okay. And I'll give you another good example. Bombers in AA meetings. What? We didn't do that. Bullshit, you didn't. Bullshit. You didn't crank call. You didn't ding dong dicks. You didn't crack jokes and you didn't play pranks on people. Yes, you did, you alcoholic. Yes, you did. And now you're paying the price. Welcome to adulthood. And then people in the meeting, oh, those are future members of Alcoholics Anonymous because look at the way they act. You don't get to judge that. This is the true statement. But for the grace of God go I. Not drifting back into self-will, but that isn't so much loyalty to God as it is loyalty to you. What about the loyalty to you, man? Yeah. Are you staying loyal to yourself? Are you following through on the things that you said that you were going to follow through? Are you done with your 4-step yet? It's been months. I know there's a few people listening to me where you've been on your 4-step for months. Finish the fucking thing, would you? Be loyal to yourself. Being loyal to yourself is one of the hardest things to do. Because if can make an excuse to anybody and get away with it, it is me. And that goes back to the discernment. Yes, judging properly. I just showed an example of that. All right. But for the grace of God go I. Not look at what they're doing. Oh, look. Just look. Oh my gosh. It's just so disgusting. When people are like, oh, that's so disgusting. Those are like the low people of the low. They use words like creepy, disgusting. That's definitely a white girl word. Disgusting. Hey, you all know me well enough that I am not racist, right? All right. Not forgetting where you came from. And I think that's one of the biggest things people forget. There are a few people in my life that are important who have like 30, 40 years of sobriety and they walked away from AA years ago. They are not loyal to what saved them. And there's going to be a price for that. It may not, I don't know what the price will be, but I know of true happiness, of true joy, they're not going to find much. And that hurts me. Okay. Now I have to admit that I'm allowing that to hurt me. But all I can do is just be the best example that I can. I can't expect anybody to do what I do. Right. And I'm in a unique position, so I get to do service work all the time. I'm lucky that way. I'm very lucky that way. But there's a price to be paid there. I don't get vacations. I don't even know how much we're going to be able to buy Christmas for the kids this year, for the grandkids. Right. Um, you know, yeah, Angel says I'm still loyal to AA. I just don't go to toxic meat. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about you. Leisure says the more time someone takes worrying about other people at meeting is time take away from themselves. Oh, Leisure, given a 2x4. Nice. And Angel, I'm sorry if it felt like I brushed you off. I hope it didn't come across that way. Michelle says, going back to where they started, fucked. Man, you guys are hitting this shit on the nail. Yeah. All right. So yeah, and Angel followed up. I choose to spend my time in more positive and real places. I would agree with that. Yeah. You want to know what meeting I go to? Grassroots. It's about the only meeting I go to anymore. So I can't sit here and give anybody else crap on that because I'm kind of doing the same thing. But I had to go start my own meeting in order to get it done. Yes. So absolutely. Loyalty to God means you don't outgrow the miracle. Well, bam. You can't outgrow the miracle. You don't want trust. You don't want to you don't want to outgrow the miracle, right? You don't use the gift of sobriety to build a kingdom of ego, but we see it all the time. You know, grassroots is a decent meeting. Thanks. At least you didn't call it toxic. All right. It's kind of like this. People say that AA is a religious program, and it's not. It's a spiritual program, but there's a lot of religious people in it. Sure there are. Sure there are. Yeah. I really don't want the chat to turn into putting down AA and stuff. I really don't want that to happen. All right. Then let's talk about we let me put it this way. Let me put it a different way. Instead of saying I don't want to go to these toxic meetings, what are we doing instead? What was the solution to that? Let's get to that. Let's get to then what are we doing? Because there's a lot of people out there that might feel the way that you do that need an answer. So please put solution in. Put solution in also on what you're doing because clearly something is working. So let's throw that in there too if we can. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Loyalty to the path that got you sober. All right. So we all went down this broad highway. All right. And it says in the big book, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Right? Well, the path is a broad highway. Life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long because it's recovery, right? So, right, it's kind of like when you first come into the program, or for me anyway, the very first time that I actually decided to work the program back when I was 18. Right. And did I really trust the people there? Well, I kind of did because they put a roof over my head and I didn't even ask. I thought I walked into a 5:30 AA meeting. I didn't know it was a halfway house for homeless alcoholics. I found that out afterwards and they asked me to stay. And it saved my life because I was thin as a rail, man. I wasn't eating, right? So then what I needed to do was become so I had a little bit of trust. So what I do? Well, what I did is I had trust in the process. And I could trust the process because I could see it working in other people's lives. So that's where my trust began. And then as I got to know people, I was able to trust them more, things like that. Now, of course, when you're 18, you're also easily swayed, but I was an 18-year-old who'd already lived an adult's life, so I wasn't that easily fooled by things like people my age, right? So, right, some people will get well, then they act like the program, the fellowship, the prayers, the guidance, none of it ever mattered. They graduate. Yeah, some people feel like they graduate. That's why I feel like it's kind of but I don't want to take away people's success. Like when you graduate from treatment or a sober living, um, and you know, so all right. So you start to think you know better. They turn the steps into content and merchandise. That is not loyalty. I would call that spiritual amnesia. You forgot. You forgot. All right. So loyalty means you keep doing what works. You honor the steps in the process. All right. And you don't pretend you invented sobriety. All right. I'll give a good example of that too. Um, when I usually take people through the steps, it takes about a year. Right? Probably a lot less than that. It's probably more like 6, 7 months. Really depends on the person, how often we meet, right? But I don't want to just have that set. What if there's somebody that's really, really bad, but they can get the program right now? Okay, that means that I need to learn I need to learn other ways to sponsor on the quickness, and I'm discovering that. So I'm learning how to do that. I'm going to go through the process with me, and do that so that I can be a better use, right? Because my way is not the only way. Uh-uh. All right. I've had some sponsees. Hey Dion, do you mind if because Amber goes through them a little bit quicker. All right. So do you mind if Amber takes me through the steps? I can say, I'm like, fuck yeah, do it. Please. Yeah. I don't control you. I ain't your boss. Of course you can. But what was that? It was loyalty just by asking. Just by asking. All right. All right. And then you don't rewrite the parts that make you uncomfortable. Okay. So using AA to get better just to turn around and sell it is, well, it's an act of betrayal, but I'm not gonna go into that part. We know what it is. Um, so let's kind of move on from that, right? So let's talk about the freely ye have received, freely give. Now, there are a lot of people that like to work in the industry, and thank you for that. We need them, right? I'm going to utilize my friend Lori, and no, she doesn't mind. No, she doesn't mind um me bringing up her name. Give me a second here. I'm going to turn off chat because I'm sorry, guys. It's distracting me. So I'm turning off chat. You guys can go argue somewhere else. Okay. So, loyalty to carrying the message, sharing your story, showing up for the newcomer, doing service when no one sees it, like running the 2 o'clock meeting because nobody's there. I was making a joke. Telling the truth, even when it costs you something. Remember, you're still a drunk saved by grace. I believe that's my favorite one right there. Remembering that you're still a drunk saved by grace. I am only walking under the grace of God. Right. Uh, I also, I, I also ask that we get to solution. So this isn't the place for this stuff. This is Dion's arena. So, all right. Thank you everybody for being here. I love you.